Hello there, everybody. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, August 31st, and this is the rundown of assignments for this week. If you'd like a printable copy of the schedule for this week's agenda, you can click on the APES schedule on our main page and print that out. It has checklist items, so you'll be able to check those off as you go. That has been updated. For this week, we are in the folder Environmental Problems, Their Causes, and Sustainability. And I'm going to walk through the different assignments that we have for this week. The first one on there is a podcast by The Daily, which is a podcast out of the New York Times. And the episode is called Can Corporations Stop Climate Change? When you open this up, you guys will see a few things. I recommended that you use the Pocket Cast app on your smartphone. And part of the reason I did that is because you can speed up or slow down the podcasts in smaller increments than usual podcast players. So you can speed it up 1.1 times, 1.2 times. And if you need help knowing that, I can show you that at a different time. For the podcast itself, you're looking for this podcast, you're going to want to search for climate change, and then you should look for the episode from February 24th, Can Corporations Stop Climate Change? This is a really good episode for this week because we're talking about how all these different things go into sustainability on our planet. And this is showing how the economics of climate change are starting to impact businesses, and they're starting to see that it is important to do something about climate change. So it's a very good podcast for this week's topics. Now, when you finish, you're going to do a 5-sentence summary about the podcast, and I want you to also respond in your own words what you think of the podcast, or at least respond to the claims that are going on in the podcast. You can listen to it on a computer. I put a link in there for that. I don't recommend that, though. I always recommend when you listen to a podcast, either take a walk, mow the lawn, do the dishes, or clean the house while you're listening to it. And that is something that I usually do. You don't want to just sit and listen to a podcast. You'll get bored out of your mind. But it's a really good thing to have on in the background when you're doing stuff that you would be doing anyway. So that is your first assignment for the week. The Week 2 Nature Journal is the same as last week. I hope that was a rewarding activity for you. We are going to continue to do that. The Environmental Impacts, Population, and Sustainability Notes. I'm going to post a video of that later today, Monday, for the first half, and then on Wednesday we will finish up the second half. The Chapter 1 APLEA homework, this one is I had you sign up last week. It's actually due this coming Sunday. For those of you who were not in my period 1, you may have missed on Thursday the walkthrough that I did of the APLEA. So if you're interested, I put a YouTube video in Schoology. It's at the bottom of the General Information and Tutorials folder, and it says Tour of APES Online Textbook and Homework with Miss Valentine. So click on that. There's a 10-minute video that just walks you through the online textbook and the homework system. It'll give you a lot of good information. So check that out. I talked about it in first period on Thursday during our work session, and then as those of you in 9th period know, I messed up the work session on Thursday for us. So that information is available, though, in the General Information and Tutorials folder. Okay, next up for this week, we have the Chapter 1 reading quiz, and that is going to take place on the AP Classroom website. Now, I haven't actually used this as a testing portal before, so if we're having trouble with it on Wednesday, we can talk about it during the work session on Thursday. Once again, it is brand new to me, so we'll see how this goes, but that will be available at noon on Wednesday. If you aren't able to attend class this week, or if you miss one of the classes, you'll need to participate in the virtual participation discussion. If you attend one class and not the other, you'll need to write at least 3 sentences. If you miss both classes during the week, then you will need to do the full 5-sentence requirement to get your virtual participation for the week. And in this discussion this week, I am interested in knowing about your environmental education up to this point. Also, like, what did your parents know? And then also, what do you think about environmental education? Is it something that needs to happen beyond elementary school? Is it something we should have in high school? So I put a list of questions there that you can write regarding environmental education, and that is the virtual participation option for those of you who cannot attend class. And then at the very bottom here, this is something I just added this morning, check the class rosters. So I have posted the rosters for both first period and ninth period for this class. And I want you guys to take a look at those so you know who's in the classes. I want you to write your nickname in parentheses. So if you have a nickname, you just need to put it in parentheses. I think I did that. I did it for the people that I knew, but if you want to write your name, a nickname in, you're gonna open up this roster and just type it in. You guys all have edit privileges, though I will know if you edit something inappropriately. So again, check the rosters, see who's on there, because the other reason I want you to look at the rosters is that we are going to start a year-long project next week where you can either work independently with one partner or with a group of 3. You can't have a group of 4. If you have a group of 4, you got to split into 2 groups of 2. But you can work up to a group of 3, or you can just work on your own. What the project is you're going to be a UN ambassador, and you're preparing a summary, which is really a book when you're talking about the United Nations. You're going to be writing about your nation's position on various environmental domains. And you will be given a nation. You're going to have to pick a number between 1 and 173, and then I'll give you your nation. So that'll be assigned next week. What I want you to be thinking about right now is just if there's anyone on those rosters that you want to work with, you need to reach out independently to them. You can just type in their name in the email, and it should come up with their school email address, and see if they want to work with you. You don't need to tell me anything at this point. I'm going to have a form for you to fill out next week, but I just want you to kind of be thinking about it, maybe talking to people if you want to work on it, or if you want to work with someone but you don't really know anybody on the list. I'm also going to have that as an option on the form as well next week so that I can connect you to somebody that you could work with. So just be thinking about that. We are going to start that next week. So take a look at the roster, write in your nickname, and then be thinking about who you may want to work with, or if you want to work by yourself on the year-long project. All right, so that is the rundown of the assignments this week. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask, and I hope to see you all in class on Monday, Wednesday, and then the work session on Thursday.